Today I'm going to be interviewing my aunt, and since she's in DR, I'm just going to be asking her how's it like in DR. So my first question is, since you're the principal of a school, what would you tell your kids in order for them to be successful?
Hi, everyone. So basically, I always, as a principal, I always try to have my students, reflect on what they're doing and, what can they do better. That's something that I always start off with. And I have them, if they're doing something incorrect, I have them actually acknowledge, like, oh, for example, they're not doing their homework. So I would call them and be like, okay, so do you know why you're here? And they'll be like, no, I don't know. And then once they're there, I'll be like, okay, can I see your notebook for whatever language, whatever subject it is? And then I'll be like, what's going on here? Why does it say incomplete? Why does it say that you have a zero? Why does it say this? So then they're like, faced with the truth. So usually, like, I always have them reflect on whatever is going on, but at the same time, I always have them know that there is like a way to fix this, so they know that, okay, so now let me try. I'll tell them, like, well, try to do it, and then once you do it, like, try to see if the teacher accepts it, and tell them, that you're gonna put, more effort into the subject area and blah blah blah. And usually students tend to be very reciprocal about responding to that type of thing. I always tell them, like, everybody's not perfect. I always tell every student, for whatever reason it is, like, I'll tell them, like, everyone's not perfect. We make mistakes, but what makes us different is that how we look at mistakes, and that we don't look at them as failures all the time, and that we look at them as something, as room for growth and to learn from it. So I always tell them to, basically, tell them those type of things. And I always tell them, to set goals in their life. Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like, how are you going to get there? What steps are you taking already? Things like that. I always tell them to also, that's something that I always put, like, when, if somebody misbehaves or something, depending on the situation, I'd be like, like, do you believe in God? And then they'll say yes or no. And usually they say yes. And then I'll tell them, like, God wouldn't want you to do something like that. So, you need to kind of consider that. So I focus on their beliefs and things like that, and have them always, empathize for others, and basically to put God before anything, you
Yeah.
know?
What do you teach? Do you teach like elementary, middle?
Well, I'm a principal from preschool all the way through high school.
Oh, that's a
So
lot.
I like vice principals under me, and they, like, I have principal for preschool, a principal for elementary, and a vice principal for high school. So then basically, they come to me, and we kind of meet up, and we make plans, like, how we're gonna, manage everything. They have, like, schedules, they have routines that they have to do, that sort of thing. And basically, I oversee all of them, but that doesn't impede me from, like, actually doing some things that they do, like meeting with kids and talking about their progress and that sort of thing. It's not like it's only strictly them that do those type of things. We work as a team, and we get the job done.
Okay. That
Yeah.
was, is it hard like to deal with the kids?
Well, sometimes you can, you'll have, like, some kids that are, like, challenging, like teenagers especially, you know and then there's other kids that are, like, smaller kids, and they're having, like, family issues and things like that. And you kind of learn about the family issues that they're having, and you kind of, like, help them out and help them see the light through whatever they're going through. But it's like a little bit, like, I think it goes along with psychology, like education and the psychology behind it, because not all kids are, you're going to punish them. Oh, you're going to have, suspension, or you're going to have this, or you're going to have that. They don't all, respond correctly to those type of things. Some kids just need, a little bit more love and care type of thing, and more time.
Yeah. What do you
Yeah.
what do you struggle in like sometimes in life?
In life, I think I struggle mostly with like basically I think it's like time management. Like there's so much things to do
Mm,
that I'm always like trying to do like something else so that I don't have to do it tomorrow. But I've like my daughters always tell me like, Mom, you need to like relax, you're stress yourself out too much type of thing. And so like I try to like, like lower the bar a little bit and not have to basically be involved in like trying to finish everything in one day, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So that's what I'm trying. That I think that's my biggest struggle, like learning how to, you know, um, try to do everything, at once, like in one day,
yeah. So I saw like all your kids are all successful. Like, what do you think led them to be so successful?
Well, I wouldn't say like they're successful. I guess they're in a good, a good like road, right? I would say. But basically like I always, with my kids, like we discipline them. They know like the boundaries, they know the rules. I think that's very important in life, for a child, because even if you have confidence in them, and all this stuff, but there's things that you need to like have them know that it's like a no, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
um time, I'm very open with them. Like they can tell me anything and I won't be like like surprised or something. Like, I just try to take it like slowly and kind of like respond, as best as I can. um and also, like for them, like when they're growing up, like, oh, I want to do like a castle, for example, right? Like when they were toddlers, right? And I was like, okay. And oh, I want to, I need some boxes and whatever, and we'll go out and look for boxes, wherever, like we'll be driving by and find boxes, for example. And they create their whole, whatever castle that they want, right? Same thing is like it applies, but when as they get bigger, what happens is like, for example, like Scarlett, like she would say like, oh, I'm interested in art, like in art, like it's something that I think like, so I always try for them, to explore things that they want to do. So I put her in a school, like it's like a little course for teenagers that, that it's for beginning architects. And so I put her there, see how, she liked it, and she ended up not liking it. And then she, I also like sometimes they wanted to like, oh, I want to do a business, and I would have them, okay, what do you want to do? Like, let's get that ready. Like, and I would start them off in the business, let's say. And then they had to continue the business with the money that they gained, So I guess we all supported them like in the way like that they felt that they can do this and that and this and that, and that way, they can grow in what they like. So that's basically what I encourage them. I always encourage them to, try it. Like try it. I always tell them like sometimes they're not up to trying something, and I'll be like, but try it. You never know. And then just as long as I always tell them to keep in mind, like you can try things as long as it's not gonna be something that's gonna damage you. Like I'm not gonna tell them to try drugs, right?
yeah,
So like I would tell them like anything that that is gonna it could benefit you in some way, try it. Because taking a course in something and then not liking it, it's fine. You something you learn from there. you know at the end of the day, it opened your eyes. You don't want That's not what you want to be when you grow up, type of thing.
yeah. So I noticed that you live in DR and it's like different from New Jersey. So what's your like morning routine or like daily routine in DR?
Well, my daily, like my morning routine, my it's basically like I wake up, I wake, the girls up, or like, especially like I have two going to university right now. So two of them like are sometimes have already left already because they go like, some of them have like 7 o'clock class. So they go together. So they leave here like sometimes like 6 in the morning. And so basically, with the rest, I just wake up. Usually the breakfast or whatever they're gonna take, their lunches are prepped the day before. Sometimes if we don't have the time, then we don't prep it the day before. But I would say the routine is basically the same. We go to work. Since I'm the principal, my girls are with me at work. So like they finish, they go to extracurricular activities, like Chloe's in swimming, and then, like, for example, Alina is right now like in these dance rehearsals for like their graduation activity. She's also in volleyball. Chloe's also in volleyball. And apart from that, they're in the modeling like academy, where not only are they there for modeling, they're there also for basically like learning etiquette protocols. They get like psychological, um, like psychologists come in and talk about like how to be positive in life, and how to deal with problems, and how to deal with anger, and how to deal with all that stuff. And those are things that help them grow, and how to project themselves towards people, because sometimes some people think that that's just something, but it's not always like that.
Yeah. Um, what do you like plan on moving to New Jersey?
Well, if the situation or the opportunity exists, of course, I'm always open to, anything that can come up. But as of now, no.
Do you like DR?
Huh?
Do you like DR?
I do.
Is it like always sunny?
Yeah.
Do you like what do you do like when it's like nice out? Like do you go out?
Yeah. Well, when it's nice out, like, I mean, I have the opportunity to go, like, if I wanted to, like, most of the time I can go to the beach every day if I wanted to. If I wanted to. But I don't go to the beach that often. But yeah, I mean, I like a lot of days outside, like you know, cohibited with those type of things. What I like most about DR is like, the the people, the environment. It's not that of like a rush environment, like there's like quality family time, that sort of thing. That's like, I always say that that's precious to me more than money, for example.
Yeah. So like
hmm
when your daughters were like little, what did you see or what did you want them being when they grow up?
well, like I said, I never actually wanted them to be some things particularly, you know what I mean. I always push them to go after what they like, so it's
Yeah.
basically like what. Or I always have them like, oh, I like, for example, she'll be like, oh, I like marine biology, for example, or things like that. And, like, I take them to, like, the sea, and we will talk about it, like, whenever the subject kind of comes up, like if we're in the environment, or like if we go to, like, the aquarium, and we'll talk about the fish, and we'll talk about what implies to be that, and that sort of thing. So it's not like I wanted them to be something specifically. They kind of like went their own route. And I supported them, and I always tell them, like, research, like, what does that mean, like, what do you like, for example, my oldest is studying to be a doctor, and my second is studying to be a dentist. So basically, it was product of elimination. Like, they took on courses, they took on things, and I would just like guide them whatever they want. Like I said, like, for example, Scarlett was between architect and dentistry, and I had her take two type of courses that had those things, and I also had her, um like, for example, I had Alina this year do like a volunteer, sorry, in in a vet clinic. So she went there. There's not like a particular course for vets. So, like, I took her. I asked, someone that I knew, and I said, oh, can she volunteer? You don't have to pay her or anything. And that's what she's kind of going for. She wants to be a vet, so she really liked the experience. So until for now, that's what she wants to be.
What are your struggles like only having girls in the house?
Well, my struggles with only having girls, I would say it's like the bickering and like the fighting over like tedious things, like anything like, oh, you took my shirt, or I was using that. I was, like, don't borrow my makeup. um, like, why are you giving me attitude? That type of thing,
Yeah.
like what I see all the time with them. But other than that, like having girls around is having girls around is basically, like very helpful. The girls are very like, when I need her, mom, do you need this? Do you need that? You know, help around the chores. So that's a us. They like once a week we do like cleaning. So we'll like, okay, so you're gonna sweep the house, and you're gonna clean one bathroom, and the other one's gonna clean the other bathroom, and that sort of thing. So that helps me a lot with you know too, and whenever that I have two of my that are driving, like they come help me, oh mom, I'm gonna take Chloe to school or whatever, if I mean to modeling school, right? And I'll be like, okay, so you could stay and finish this or whatever. And that's what basically like having the girls are actually has been, more of a pro than a con.
How was my dad when he was younger?
Well, what can I say? Well, your dad, he was very how could I say, he was very active, very active. Um, he was all over the place. Like he would be running, like everybody would be just doing their thing, and he would be like running from one end of the house to the other end of the house, jumping on the sofas. um but he was also very creative, like like he would like think outside the box a lot. Like if we were doing something, like if we were, let's say we were building something, he would like want to build it. Like he would be like, I know how to do it. And even if he was little, like he would want to try and build it, and
Yeah.
I would always encourage that in him, like for him to try to basically, I would say he was very like of a fighter. Sometimes he had difficulty at first reading, and he would like follow the pictures in the book and say that he was reading. He would make up the story, right, with the picture. And I and then like I would always, even though it might not be what we were expecting to happen, that he would be reading, but I mean he was creative enough to actually make up like, oh, maybe I can just kind of figure out what's going on, and they'll think I'm reading, so things like that. He was very like, always helping out when like well, it wasn't that he wanted to help out, but they all did chores. Jenny and Albert, they all did chores. We all had to. So they knew that I would go and like check. That's why he doesn't like to do dishes, because I would go and go like this to the dish, and if it was dirty, I would say to him, you're gonna do all this again, and then he
Yeah.
really have to do it. Very sweet and affectionate, like very affectionate. He was very clingy, like always wanting to be around, like me, and, like hugs and kisses. But, if it came to someone else, like outside, the immediate family, like to try to kiss him, he wasn't very like about that. He
Yeah.
wouldn't want. Um, but like I said, I think that what he has become today has been product of that, because he's very like, let me see what I can do different that people aren't doing, that can make me successful.
Yeah.
That's why I always say there's a positive thing to everything.
Um. So like you don't see me much, but as of like now, what do you think I'm going to be when I grow up? What do you see me being?
As you, um, I don't know. It's hard. Like I can't even tell that with Chloe. Like even though I know that she's very creative and like she likes to do, like creative things. Um, I see you like I don't know why, but I see you like psychology area. I don't know. I don't know. I
Yeah.
see you because you're always like very like observing, like you look at everyone and you don't talk that much, but you're always like observing and seeing what everybody's doing, and you're like and then you're like, oh tia, I saw this and this and that, for example, and then you're like, so part of like being like, if I would go with what as I see you, um as a person doing and everything, I see you like in the psychology area, um because I see that you're very observant, but that doesn't limit you, that's just what I think as of right now. Maybe you might be, because like I said, I always sometimes it's just that we need to, like what you're doing now, you didn't do podcasts before or anything like that. This
Yeah.
a future for you. So, we're every day we change, every day we can become better, every day we can, increase our abilities. We just need to kind of explore them and kind of like, okay, well, it was nice that, like, let's say you're doing podcasts and oh yeah, it was nice doing podcasts, but maybe, in the future you're gonna be like, I don't really want to do that, you know.
Yeah.
But this might be a for what the rest of your, you know.
Those are all my questions. Thank you for answering all of them.
Oh, you're welcome, sweetie. I love you so much.
Me too. Guys, make sure you guys subscribe and like this video. Bye.
Bye.